Hello and welcome to the Last Word on Spurs. We are your multi-award winning Tottenham Hotspur podcast, and we are back earlier than planned. Now, can I just say there's a serious problem when I've got Lee McQueen, Jason McGovern and Richard Cracknell on their way, and we're not reviewing a game, and we're not previewing a game, and it's a non-match day that we're back on Last Word on Spurs. If you're with us for the first time, where have you been? We're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're across all major audio platforms, we're of course on X. We're on Instagram, we are on Facebook too, and we are here, unfortunately, in this emergency podcast special to react to the news that Guglielmo Vicario, Tottenham's goalkeeper, part of course, Spurs' new leadership group, is looking set to be missing for months due to an ankle fracture. Now, Vicario revealed, actually, he played 60 minutes against Man City with that fractured ankle that required surgery after the game. And this has been obviously been breaking, of course, on the Monday evening. And you know what, again, there's many questions around that situation, the fact that he was allowed to play on for that long. We'll get the boys' takes on that. But a real concern for Spurs. He suffered that injury in the first half collision, for those that weren't aware of when that was occurred, with the Man City star Savinho, who challenged the stopper for the ball. He played on, and he could be seen limping when coming out for the second half, and was also seen leaving the stadium in quite a bit of pain. Spurs did tweet after the game, obviously this is on the Monday, that we can confirm Vicario has undergone surgery for a fracture of his right ankle. He will be assessed by our medical staff to determine when he can return to training. We are all behind you, Vic. Vicario personally then confirmed that news on his Instagram account, where he said sometimes football gives you highs, sometimes it challenges you in ways you don't expect. I played 60 minutes at the Etihad with a broken bone in my ankle, giving absolutely everything I had for the team. Unfortunately, there was no way around this one. I needed surgery. I'm disappointed. I won't be able to help the team for a while. A massive thank you to the doctors and the staff. The operation went well. And from tomorrow, I'll be working hard to come back stronger, fitter, and ready to give my all for you again. Thank you to the Spurs fans for all the love. See you soon on the pitch. And, you know, again, it's typical Tottenham, isn't it? I think I tried to work it out. We had 47 and a half hours of happiness, and bang, bang, Tottenham Hotspur are back in our life with a vengeance they are. Macca, I'll open up with you if I can. Like I said, Crackers joining us now. There's a serious problem. I said when Macca, Crackers and Jace are here on a non-match day evening, a non-preview evening, and it's an emergency one. So Macca, instant review from you to the news. We're going to losing Vicario now for quite a considerable length of time.
I mean, we're just not allowed nice things, are we? To be honest, I mean, it is. I think we might end up being fine and whatever. You know, obviously our philosophy is score more than the other team, and when you're smashing 4 in against City and Everton and West Ham, and scoring 3 against United and the likes, Villa as well. Maybe we could do with letting him 3 and scoring 4. But I mean, jokes aside and optimism aside, it's a massive blow after, like you say, not even 2 days after that, amazing performance that we all witnessed, which I've watched back 3 times, to be fair. So it's just a massive blow, isn't it? A huge blow. I think it was probably his best performance in a Spurs shirt since he joined the club as well. Some outrageous saves that he made, and he's such a good shot stopper. And now we've got to put the faith in the tree or in the statue, or in two lads that keep signing contracts at the club and never play. So it is bad news. It is bad timing. And again, maybe the chickens are coming home to roost again for not investing in the key areas of what a lot of us said. Actually, it wasn't me, to be fair, but a lot of us on the panel said we need to invest in a proper number 2 backup goalkeeper for Vicario in case something like this happens. And of course, it's Tottenham, Rick. So of course this was going to happen, because just like last season when we had, you know, the likes of Romero, Van der Ven, the doggy, Basuma banned at the same time, Maddison out, Richarlison not being able to be fit. We didn't have a Dominic Solanke even last season when we had all them players out injured last season and the wheels fell off at Chelsea. Some will say the wheels didn't get put back on this season, but we've started to do some really good stuff, played brilliantly against City. And now we've got VDV out, we've got Romero out, we've got our goalkeeper out. I mean, wow. So to be fair, it's quite testing. We've got Bentancur banned for 7 games as well. It's a tough one. I mean, look, we can have a go at the fact that we haven't got adequate backups and that type of stuff, and that's always the way under this ownership. But the reality of the situation is we play a game in a couple of days, and Vic probably wouldn't have played anyway. The Tree would have played. But we've got to back up that fantastic result against City with another win against Fulham. And now we're going to have to do it without arguably, well, he is our number one, but arguably one of the best goalkeepers in the league, in my opinion. So it's a tough one to take, Rick. But that's Tottenham. And that is our club, mate. What does Ange say? That's who we are, mate.
Honestly, I was describing it earlier on a previous show as being like a box of chocolates. You're not sure if you're going to get a Galaxy Caramel or a Bounty. I mean, I know there's people that do like Bounty out there, so I feel bad for the Bounty lovers. But I mean, at the moment, Jason loves a Bounty. I'm glad someone's found a positive out of it. Before I come to Jace, Cracks has come to you, the Goalkeepers Union. We've rushed Crackers back 48 hours and earlier, 47 and a half hours than what we got of happiness, I tell you. Cracks, what's your reaction
Rush
to this
goalkeeper, one? Rick, isn't it?
Honestly.
Rush goalkeeper, like at school. Oh, it's just it's a huge blow. I mean, firstly, wishing Vic all the best with his recovery, and firstly and foremostly, you hope that everything heals correctly. And just from a personal, physical point of view, and then from now, you hope that it comes back and everything's gone well and comes back to who he was and what he was in goal. So, Rick, it is a real massive blow for us. But you get moments of adversity like this. All clubs get them. On a wider picture, it was a key man risk, isn't it? It was one of those areas that we haven't got a plethora of sort of real good quality choice. I was just looking a little bit earlier at some of the other goalkeepers. I was looking at Liverpool's situation where Alisson will come back. Kelleher had stepped in and been brilliant, but Slot's already said no. As soon as Alisson's back, it will be him in goal. And they've just gone out and bought Mamadashvili as well, the keeper that I actually wanted before Vic came in. So it just shows you that there's a level of planning that's going on at Liverpool. They've seen that you've always got to have that production line running of good quality keepers. It looked like Kelleher may go. That may be something that we have to look at and try and maybe do a loan deal or something if Vic's injury takes a good while. But this is the hand that's been dealt us now, so we have to suck it up and then go, right, okay, look, we can all sit with our chins on the deck, or we go, okay, this is the options that we've got, and that is Forster. Now, I'm already seeing across social media people, already giving him absolute pelters before he's even pulled a glove on. Look, be under no illusions that Forster will give us everything he's got. That's undoubted. He's 36 years old. He's been at Southampton. He's been at Newcastle. He was at Celtic at loan. He's done his time. Will his best be good enough? That remains to be seen. But you cannot get away from the fact that he will give us everything that he's got. And us as a fan base really have to get behind him and give him some encouragement and be hopeful. People starting to give him pelters already. just isn't going to help any situation at all. You've got to get behind the man now, and just hope that he comes in. Look, he may well come in and pull plenty of trees up, if you pardon the pun. So let's see. As I said, he's 36 years old. But when he was in his prime, Lionel Messi called him the Great Wall when Barcelona played Celtic. He said, "I just could not couldn't put the ball past him." So undoubtedly, he's a player of quality. Has he still got that sort of next 6, 8, maybe 10 weeks in him to be able to do something? So we'll see. We'll see, Rick. But as I said, be under no illusion. He will give us everything. It's down to us to get behind him now. And it's down to the players in front of him to step up. We may have to change a little bit the way we play because Vicario gave us such a rapid turnaround, for that press. Forster may not be able to give us that much. So we'll just have to see from here on in. But come January, come the end of the season, we have to look at this position. We really, really do have to, because, we've got Whiteman, Gunter, who else have we got? Austin. Whiteman's 25, I think Austin's 26, Gunter's 19. At 19 years old, that's no age, but at 25, 26, there's not much experience with the other two at playing at any real level, So this is something we've really, really got to look at as a position within the club. So let's see, Rick.
Yeah, we will have to see. I mean, I don't know if I ever mentioned at any point during this whole season to you, Jace, what a cracker decision that was, putting Fraser Forster in the Europa League squad. I'm not sure any Muppet disagreed, saying that wasn't a good decision. Jace, what's your reaction to this one? Because, I mean, it was this same time as Macca mentioned, this time last season, where we did get a number of injuries that quite simply decimated us. Match week 11, match week 12. This is where we had that period. It feels like it's Tottenham Hotspur just coming back. Deja vu once again. I mean, reaction to it, Jace, is it the one position, really, I said this to you actually off air before we came on, that we couldn't really afford an injury in? I think you maybe said to me about Solanke, you couldn't afford to do without him, but just in terms of the goalkeeper, the drop-off, with no disrespect, from Vicario to Forster in terms of the way Ange wants to play, is that the biggest problem in terms of that drop-off?
Well, just the very first thing to say is what an astonishing performance he put in Saturday. If he played for an hour on a broken ankle, that makes his performance even better, doesn't it? And the fact that he looks so assured, coming for crosses and jumping up, catching the ball, and landing on a broken ankle is amazing. I mean, you can't believe it, can you? Really, that of all the places to keep a clean sheet with a broken ankle for an hour, it's Manchester City. But the first thing is you have to get on with it, don't you? It's pointless moaning about it. It's pointless whinging and whining. There's absolutely nothing else you can do until the 1st of January anyway. So, it's a case of getting on with it. Fraser Forster, we all presume, will come in. It will probably help him that he'll play week in, week out, rather than coming in every 2 or 3 weeks and not for 3 months and things like that. So hopefully he can get, a little bit more match sharpness up. But, there's nothing you can do until the 1st of January. Maybe the good thing is that it will force the club to do something in January that it might have put off until next summer. So, they'll have a better idea of the diagnosis by then. I mean, there's, I see the headline here, out for months, and he's broken. There's a difference between a broken ankle, a completely broken ankle like Gomez got when Sonny did that thing at Everton, and a fractured bone in the ankle. So, let's see what the genuine diagnosis is in 2 weeks' time, type of thing. Once he's had the operation, the swelling goes down, we'll see the damage. And I don't know how long he'll be out for. 2 months, 3 months, whatever.
Yeah, we are hearing reports coming into us that Spurs are bracing themselves for him to be out for a period of between 2 to 3 months, just based on the fact of it being a fracture rather than a complete break. And again, you made that point, Jess, about whether they look in January. I actually asked you this off air, and I want to bring it actually on air. You didn't feel it was fair, maybe the question I was asking, but I don't know whether you agree, but playing 60 minutes with a broken ankle, is that not just negligence by the medical team? Because there's a reason they're hired by the club, and for them to let Vicario play for that long after they evaluated him just sounds pure utter madness. For all those saying the medical staff had no clue of what's going on, there is a reason why they go to their respective, education. They learn about, this kind of thing in terms of the biology piece of it. I think the first remaining suspicion is for a fracture of the ankle, is no weight bearing on the affected foot. He's been allowed to play on for a considerable amount of time. Is that me being unfair by making that judgment?
I think that's being completely unfair. Completely unfair. They can't. There's no X-ray facility at half time in the physio's bag, is there?
No, I'm not saying that, but but by the nature of the.
That's that magic spray. That magic spray that they've been using, the bucket and the sponge. That is an X-ray. That's what normally happens now. And what they do is they run on the pitch, they put the little sponge on, and all of a sudden they can tell straight away that they got a metatarsal fracture or a fracture of the symphysis bone. I mean, come on, man. It's in the middle of the game.
I've got to ask these guys. Listen, I've got to ask these questions. I have to ask them.
When everyone goes to the doctor with a pain, the doctor's going to say to you, well, where's the pain and how bad is the pain? I mean, some of it's got to be. You can't just look at you and say, "Oh, I reckon you got a broken arm."
No, I think the reason why I'm bringing that up is the fact that these guys are absolutely trained specialists in terms of being able to know.
Spurs,
no, they're physios.
Not the Spurs medical staff. You having a laugh, son?
The bloke runs on the pitch is a physio.
He's got more injuries than the fucking doctors waiting room.
Like I say, Rick, he will have said to him, "How bad's the pain?" And if Vicario says, "It feels a bit dud, but I'm all right to get through it," then what's he supposed to do? Cut his foot off himself and have a quick look at it like it's a KFC leg or something? I mean, come on, Rick.
Well, listen, I've got. Listen, Jason, I've got to ask.
I'm certainly not going to comment on the quality of a doctor when I'm not one myself. That's
no, but listen, I've got to ask those questions because those are the questions that, I think, as fans, these are questions that are going.
You've got to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, these guys are, with all due respect, Jace, these guys are trained specialists in their field, and they are there, to make those judgments when they enter the pitch. And we see it many, many times when it's a head injury. I know it's completely different what I'm going down here, but when it's a head injury, for example, I understand it's a completely different situation. But at the end of the day, when they're a trained specialist in a field, they are there to make a judgment as to whether they feel, there's an issue there with the plan, they should come off. But you're right in what you're saying. They would have asked the player if he's well enough to carry on.
This morning, Rick, and you say my arm hurts, does he just look at you and say, "Oh, because it's broken"? I mean, come on, there's a certain amount of it. Is how much pain are you feeling? So no, I'm not going to have a go at the medical staff at all.
Okay, well, listen, that's fair. We'll move on from that point. Correct. There's many saying that this is pure negligence on the club to have not have gone in the summer and to have addressed the position. And I think that's, again, that, we definitely discussed it on the last window. I actually think Jason was the one that brought up the fact that the goalkeeping department, in terms of that gap between Vicario to Forster, is quite huge. I mean, we have got a huge amount of games coming up. I think we've got something like, it's at least 10 to 15 in the next 30 days. How much does this affect Tottenham's season, putting it in perspective? Is this a massive issue when the club really, in Ange's way, I mean, this is probably the greatest thing about the manager, is that his emphasis is more on scoring goals than conceding them. Tottenham are going to take the game to the opponent rather than sit back. You might argue that had this been under Conte or Mourinho, this would be much more of a body blow because of the way we want to play our football. But at the same time, to bring that to balance, we do rely a lot on Vicario from a, again, feet perspective to bring the ball out from the back, play it into the defenders. How much of a worry is that?
On the face of it, it does look a worry because Vicario is very much built as a goalkeeper that plays to that type of system, and Forster's not built in the same way, of a different generation of goalkeeper. But like I said, who knows? He might well come in and get a run of 2 or 3 games under his belt because this is one of those positions where he's not facing the heat of battle regularly, so you might get a couple of games in, intensify his training. He's not a silly goalkeeper. He's a man that's been about a long while, so there's every chance he could change his game or his style from down the years a bit more and be encouraged to be a bit quicker getting the ball out. We'll only, time will tell. Sometimes players can come in and really come and step up to the mark. It surprises you. I mean, you only have to look at Ben Davies. Everybody's like, 7 out of 10, Ben, gentle Ben, Daddy Davis, he's rock steady Eddie and everything. And then he comes in on Saturday and he was magnificent, absolutely magnificent. He's just, so you can never quite tell. I mean, one of our own, John Wenham, earlier on today said we went on Saturday to one of the best teams in the world, if not the best club side in the world, and didn't concede, scored 4 with neither of our first choice centre backs. We had Dragusin and Davies and a goalkeeper with a broken ankle for an hour and didn't concede. It's just, football is absolutely bonkers, isn't it? Especially the Premier League. It's just nuts. So yeah, we're just going to have to see how he does. Oh, it's just Tottenham, is it? It's who we are, mate. It really is, isn't it? It's I don't know. In the training ground this week, they're going to be working with Forster and getting him up to speed with his speed and making sure that he's getting, the ball out there. But you're right, Rick. What we face defensively under Ange it's a lot less. It's higher risk when we do face a team bearing down on us because we play such a high line, but it's less. So it's a lesser low. It's a lesser low frequency. It's like a high risk but low frequency of attacks that we face. So let's see where we are with it. I'm more concerned now that we as a club learn from this and Absolutely. Go out and make sure that this isn't such a problem in the future. I mean, to go back to Liverpool, when they lost Alisson, everybody was like, well, blimey, Kelleher's coming in. Now, I mean, you speak to a lot of Liverpool fans and they'll tell you, really, it would be a real crying shame for Kelleher, who will lose his place again to Alisson, to be turfed out of the starting 11, and that Alisson should be really looking to earn his place back. So strange things happen in football. Strange things do. But this is, as I said, it is a huge, huge loss because he also seems, not just his goalkeeping skills, he just seems like one of these lads around the dressing room and on the pitch that is just absolutely on it all the time. So I think he's going to be a big loss as a personality as well around the dressing room for a few weeks and around the training ground. That can really feed in to the whole factoring of it, and the whole sort of mood and scenarios that you get. So there we are, Rick. Here we are again. We can't have nice things. 48 hours we got before the gods come back again, didn't they? I mean, right, Tottenham, back in your box. You've had your 48 hours.
We didn't even get 48 hours. I looked at it. I think it's 47 and a half hours we got. We didn't even get the 48. We didn't even get the 48 with that announcement.
Look, that's typical. They didn't even give us 48 hours. They actually cut us short. They cut us short by half an hour. Even that, it was the gods punishing us. The gods punishing the gods.
You know what? I mean,
honestly,
I must say,
why don't we get Barry Fry? Rick, as I said earlier on social media, can't we get Barry Fry and do what he done at Peterborough because he thought they were cursed and he went and had a piss in each corner flag, didn't he, to release the curse? I think we need to get Barry Fry down to White Hart Lane and go and have a slash at each corner. Hello, mate. How are you? You all right? I've come for a piss at each corner of the pitch.
When you're flying back over from Lanzarote, we'll just get us 4 down there. Us 4 will go and piss in the corner. What do you think? Each of the corners, mate. Take the curse away, son.
You know what? Honestly, this club.
Well, I have trouble fitting in. I do have.
Oh, mate, it's up.
I do have trouble fitting in a Ryanair toilet, so I'll probably be bursting by the time I land.
Can I just say one thing?
Mate.
Honestly, fantastic. Some of these stories. Matt, can I bring you in? Look, Jason's going to despise this right now. I'm going to bring up on this screen. He's going to absolutely hate it. It's fair to say that the free transfer market is pretty dead at the moment, put it bluntly. For those that aren't aware, in terms of the options out there, there's Edgar Badia, a 32 years old Spanish goalkeeper. They have got Keylor Navas on there, obviously well known to the Premier League, 37 years old. It then starts to really deteriorate. You've got Lloris Karius on there. Of course, many won't forget his career at Liverpool. 31 years old. Thomas Quebec. I mean, look, the irony was you had David De Gea on a free last year, sitting around for a while. I mean, I'll be honest, Macca, there's nothing really out there at the moment that's going to really make us jump in terms of the free transfer market. Is that fair to say based on the options we can see?
Yeah, and look, I mean, all jokes aside as well, I mean, we haven't seen, and look, the lack of game time for Whiteman and Austin and the likes probably, tells you all you need to know over previous managers. But I know it's a homegrown situation, but we keep giving them contracts. Like somebody said earlier, come off the moment, come off the man. Let's go. Let's have a go. Do you know what I mean? Like Forster's there. He's a competent goalkeeper. A run of games for goalkeepers is very important. It's very, very hard. It's probably the hardest position. Crackers, you're the goalkeeper unit, mate. You'll probably tell me more than what I know. But it's probably the hardest position to come in and just hit the ground running and then go back out again and come back in. That's really difficult to do. Forster's now got an opportunity to come in, and he's got what? Well, he's going to have at least 4 months if we don't replace him. If we don't bring anyone else in January, he's going to have at least 4 months in goal. Let's be absolutely fair about it, because even if Vicario's back, like December, January, February, even if he's back in February after 3 months, he's still going to be fit enough and whatever. So
he misses the Carabao Cup final as well, Mac. I must put that out. He would miss the Carabao Cup final potentially.
Yeah, maybe Forster would have played anyway. He's been the Europa League keeper. He's been the Carabao. Well, he was once when he gets Coventry, and then he dropped him and brought back.
I'm still getting my own therapy for that one.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's like Jay said, we are where we are now. I think let's see what the club does in terms of the January. I mean, at the end of the day, for the two lads, I know it's a homegrown thing, and they are Spurs boys, and that's why I want to see all of us want to be Spurs boys playing for Spurs, right? That's what we know. Two of our own sitting there in Whiteman and Austin. None of them have had a chance. A good friend of mine actually is related to Austin, and it'd be brilliant to see him get an opportunity and to get a go. But at the end of the day, you've got to be good enough, right? This isn't, I'm not being rude. It's not a charity, is it? You can't just have a nice, good have a go. But they're at the club. Now, if the club have made the decision, if Ange made the decision, if the hierarchy made the decision that they're still at the club, they're obviously at the club for a reason. And it can't just be homegrown. So if Forster's deemed not good enough, and same with Crackers, just got to get behind him. Look, he's going to have the tree or whatever, the monster, like the statue, whatever it might be. But he did all right the last game he played. I think it was the last game or the game before. You need a run of games in that position. It's probably the position, the same as probably a striker, where you need a run of games. And it only takes him to have a couple of brilliant saves or whatever, and next thing. And I know people say about with his feet, and that's true, but look, the other side of the coin, and this is so stupid, we've only kept 3 clean sheets in the Premier League out of 12 games, right? Yeah. Previous to that, we had no clean sheets in about 5,000 years. You kept telling me every week, and telling me how bad our goalkeeper's defensive was, and how flappy we were corners, and flap this and flap that. Well, we ain't got any flappers anymore. We don't need him. He's not there. So, do you know what I mean? Is that a good thing, Rick? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, at that moment, that news came through, my heart did sink. But I mean, Jason makes it very, very clear. We are dealt with a hand. We're dealt. We've got to get on with it. I mean, Jace, do you just see it as a fact we will have to address that in January? I mean, in terms of the options that are out there right now, I suppose there's nothing really floating your boat that we need to go into right now.
I don't think there are options because we can't register any more foreigners. Because we registered Reguilon, didn't we, for the Premier League? We did.
We have registered him, yes, that's correct.
17 foreign spots.
But Reguilon in goal, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't know whether Jace you get an exception in these circumstances.
What do you think?
I don't know whether Jace you get an exception in these circumstances though.
You've got 3 English goalkeepers. at the club. So they're not going to allow you to just bring in a foreign one.
No, yeah, we've got options. We've got Forster.
There's nothing you can do. I think the only possibility is that you maybe, I don't know what the loan deal with Orient is, and then you can call back Josh Keeley, who's the only one really other than Foster with Fraser
game
Forster,
time
experience. But I'm not. I think he probably comes under register as a foreigner because it's Republic of Ireland.
Yep.
So I don't think you can do anything till the first. Like I say, the positive thing is, I think the club will definitely bring forward what they would have done in the summer to January, or I'm sure the club will address it in January. But it may well have to be another English goalkeeper. So, an English goalkeeper playing at the moment, they can bring in.
Scott Carson's still going to be knocking about somewhere. Is he still at City? Where's Scott Carson? He's always
Possibly
around that bloke.
I think he's still at City, mate. He's winning trophies. So he ain't coming here.
Possibly they go to Rangers and say, here's 5 or 6 million for Jack Butland or something. And that's probably how they'll do it. But, the good thing is, if Daniel Levy thinks there's no chance of us getting Champions League football with Fraser Forster in goal, he'll address the issue on the 1st of January.
Right,
so
okay.
That's the way for me that you look at it. And, I'm sure if he says there'll have been a reason that Ange has got Fraser Forster as his number 2, rather than the 2 Tottenham trained goalkeepers, if you like. And I'm sure he'll sit down with Ange, and Ange will probably say to him, well, I can't really play with him the way I want as our number 1 for 6 months. So I think between them, they'll sort it out, and they'll be talking to goalkeepers from now on in, and goalkeeper agents. So,
okay,
and like I say, you have to just do it that way. But I don't think they can sign a foreign goalkeeper.
Okay, well, let's ask this question to close on. I mean, Cracks, coming to you, how much does that now news impact the season? To lose Vicario for, let's just hypothetically say, what it looks like between 8 to 12 weeks. Does this change the whole centric view in terms of this season? I mean, 2 weeks ago, we don't know. Can't be honest, week to week, we don't know where we're going, do we really? I mean, we've just got to beat City. We've got Fulham at the weekend. We've got Roma during the week. I mean, what a stupid question. What a stupid question that is. Does it affect the season? I can't say what's going to happen tomorrow at the moment, let alone next week or the week after.
No, who knows, Rick? Who knows? As I said to you, there's as much chance of Forster coming in and us absolutely ruin this moment of the injury to Vic. He may come in and he may just be he may be fantastic. It may mean that everybody in front of him steps up. And he's fantastic. We might just be like, wow, where did that come from? I didn't think Forster still had that in him. As I've said to you before, Rick, goalkeepers are lunatics, aren't they? You never quite know what you're going to get with them. It's one of those things. Week by week, time will tell. It might be that Forster pulls one out of the top left corner in the 90th minute of the game, and we go on to win it. Or chuck one in, and it might have been he makes a save that Vic wouldn't have made. You just don't know. We're just going to have to see where we are with this after a few games. But like I said at the start, it's no good starting to give him a load of stick. I don't think he'd pay much mind to it anyway, to be honest.
No.
He's 36. He's been round the block, and he's a pro. He will give us everything. He will absolutely give us everything. And we as fans absolutely have to give everything to keep behind him. Of course, until he chucks one in the back of the net or something. And then, then it's going to be what it is, which is how we would have been even with Vic, wouldn't we? That's just the nature of being a fan. But I was looking at our goalkeeping options. There's some crazy old backstories. I kind of knew them. I mean, Forster's father was a quite eminent QC back in his day. So he was Queen's Counsel barrister. Brandon Austin's dad played basketball professionally. I was just having a little bit of Wikipedia and a little look through, and how much I love a goalkeeper. And Yeah, Brandon Austin's dad was a professional basketball player. So Alfie Malik Whiteman was actually born in Tottenham. So he is properly Tottenham.
Wow.
Alfie Whiteman. His dad was a eminent jazz musician, guitarist. And Alfie Whiteman is into his art and art house cinema and a DJ. And like I said to you, goalkeepers have mad backstories, don't they? It's I don't know, Rick. Let's see. It's a huge blow, but come on, this is Tottenham Hotspur. We should be impervious to this shit now, shouldn't we? It's like it shouldn't even hurt anymore. This because it's like it's daily drama, isn't it? It is daily drama. There's always something, always. So it's another bump in the road, isn't it?
Yeah. It's really key. Is Darren Savage has said, and one of the viewers and listeners here says, you re-register the squads in January. So for Europe, one of the foreigners would have to come out who is currently playing if you were to sign a foreign goalie. So I mean, on that basis, look, I think we expect Reguilon probably to be the one that's most likely to leave at the moment, given his lack of game times. That would make.
He's not registered in the European squad, is he?
No, he's not in the Europa League squad. No.
So he wouldn't come out for the European squad.
Premier League, so I'm just looking at that would qualify Premier League though. They've added him in the Premier League.
Premier League, but the Premier League registration is different to the Europa League. But if Vicario was going to be out until end of April or something, they'd probably leave him out of the squad, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing they've got now. I mean, the hard thing is, like you said, we're judging a situation where, to be honest, we're not sure how it's going to heal in terms of the fracture.
Crackers. Yeah. Do you reckon they'll go for a wine bar waiter like Watford did all those years ago?
Yes, correct. Yeah, just that. Yeah, stick him in goal for the biggest game of their history.
I've seen a lot of people calling for players to go and go. It's quite surprising. Social media is brilliant. When this brings out to the best and worst in people's social media at these times, because you see really good, funny things out there saying bring Kane back to put him in goal. You're seeing some funny things about bringing certain goalkeepers in. I mean, the reality is that we're stuck in a situation now, aren't we? It is what it is. And like we said with Jace there, you just got to front it and move on. But I don't think I know any club like this. It sounds crazy. Look, we are all Spurs. We don't really look at the outside, but I don't guess that's who we are, mate.
You can forget Harry Kane going in goal. The man you want in goal is Glenn Hoddle. 3 times he went in for Spurs, unbeaten in goal. Played in goal versus Norwich and got a draw. Played in goal versus Leeds, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, famously at Old Trafford versus Man U in the Cup when Ozzy banged one in on about the 88th minute. 3 times. Amelia Alexic got done by Joe Jordan, of all people.
Extra time,
broke his jaw. So, yeah, it was extra time. Yeah, so Hoddle's your man. If you want a goalkeeper, an outfield Tottenham player, goalkeeper, Glenn Hoddle. Played 3, drew 1. Was excellent. Excellent goalkeeper.
Here's
your man.
You see some of the comments like saying, "Oh, look at Joe Hart or something," but Joe Hart's not going to be any better than Fraser Forster now. He's packed up.
And also, I think having gone through the Spurs experience once, they're not going to come again. I mean, I'm seeing people saying Lloris is available. He's just slagged the club off about the watches. And then they said the MLS season did bring him back. I'm not sure Lloris wants to come back. Let me ask Macca a serious question, put it in perspective. Macca, how much does this damage the club's chances of that quadruple? Is that going to be very difficult now to sustain, in your opinion?
I think it's still on, Rick, to be fair. I mean, I think, I fancy us. And I'll tell you what, stick it in the acca. Stick it in the acca, mate. It's quadruple.
Oh,
don't worry about it.
No, you know what?
Look, it's a tough one. Look, at the end of the day, it is a tough one. He is a good kid, and it just comes at a time where, look, the reality of the situation is, and this is football, and this is life, and this is where it is. If he flapped at a few and we'd lost 4-0 at the weekend, which obviously we didn't, but if he had, we'd be sitting there now going, it's a blow, but
it's football.
Maybe it's an opportunity. It is still an opportunity. If you're Fraser Forster, if you're Whiteman, if you're Austin, you're now looking at that. Or Josh Keeley, people were saying that maybe you're now looking at going, this is my moment. This is my opportunity.
Very true.
And they've got to think like that. Forster has to come in. If he comes in and plays well, even if he plays, a 90% of Vic, we can get away with it because of the way we play up front and the way we're scoring goals and all that sort of stuff. But it's obviously it's huge. It feels like going to Wolves the day after Chelsea or the game after Chelsea, when we had no back four place and we had a shocker, and then we started playing defensive, and obviously everyone knows what happens. The Eric Dyer twist and turn with the Højbjerg, and we end up losing 2-1. We just didn't recover at all from that moment. I know that was 10 games in, wasn't it, the Chelsea game? We're now 12 games in. We've got VDV out, we've got Romero out, and we've got Vicario out. I mean, you literally couldn't make this up with Bentancur. I know Basuma played well the other day, but with Bentancur sitting in the front, you've got a defensive diamond there, if you like, is all out. We don't know when they're coming back. People are saying about VDV, he might still be out for a while, this bloke. Romero will be okay. He's got a toe issue. And I actually think he's on a little bit of paternity leave as well, because he's had a baby. Congratulations.
He also got,
to
yeah. I mean, you've also got no Odebear as well. I mean, it's just
Richarlison, you can't keep
Mikey
him
Moore,
fit.
we've got a virus at the moment.
Well, he's just come back, I think, in training, to be fair. I think I read earlier from Ali Gold, friend of the show. I think he's back in training. So, at least you've got some of them coming back. But there was also a bit of a scare with Werner. And again, a couple of weeks ago, before we scored against City, people were going, who cares if Werner's injured? Now we're kind of going, actually, we need the bloke. So again, this is the issue to Crack's point about Forster. Like, okay, so he's not brilliant, and I'm not saying he's no one's first choice. That's why he's number 2. But now he's got to step up, isn't he? Because that's the reality. He's got to do it, and I back him. He's going to do it. He's got to step up. He's going to be in the goal, and a game against Roma, and all of a sudden he flows out into Fulham, keeps a clean sheet. Dare I say? And next thing you know, he's on a roll, isn't he? So. Let's do this, mate. Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, I do agree.
I just hope Man United game don't go to penalties.
Oh my God! It just reminds me of those years ago. I think when we played Hull at home in the cup, Friedel was in goal. I just remember going, Brad, get down to your left. Brad, get down to your left. We actually won the penalty shootout. But I mean, it's not an ideal situation. I mean, I do again look at the fact, this is again, it's Tottenham, isn't it? It's Tottenham. What can you say? I mean, bless him, Anthony Costa told me years ago, Rick, this club is cursed. And don't be stupid. I'm sure other clubs go through this. He went, nah, not like Tottenham. What made me laugh is he came with the group. He came with the group earlier. Yeah, but he said, I'm just about to go out on stage. He said, what's going on? I said, whatever you do, don't look back at your phone. He went, fucking hell.
I mean, it was pinging. I knew something gone on. I think when I picked my phone up, there's 128 messages that pinged my WhatsApp. I was like, oof. Surely they haven't sacked Big Ange after this. So I was thinking it could be a sacking. And then I see the Vicario film. I was like, oh, mate, here we go. So, yeah, it's a tough one to take. But at the end of the day, we're in good spirits because we still, as Jamie said in our group earlier, Jamie on our own day off, we're still on a dopamine feed, aren't we, from the dopamine hit from the win at City. So this just brings you straight back down to earth. But this is life. And this is, again, maybe this is another scenario that tests us to get through a tough time later on in cup final. Look, what about this? I'll paint this picture, right? Get to the FA Cup final, right? Vic's back. He's been back from February, whatever, but we've just gone through this period and we've got through it. We get to an FA Cup final and Vic's injured again, or he's suspended for it. And then you have to bring in the tree. Now, because we brought in the tree for 3 months, and he's played all for most of the season, he's fresh. He comes in and he's amazing in that cup final, and we finally win the FA Cup for the first time in 30 odd years. That could be the story, couldn't it? It probably won't be, but it could be the story, right? You know what I mean? Got to look at it that way, team. It's fine margins, isn't it, James? Fine margins.
Yeah.
What an imagination.
And I'll tell you what a football club. What a football club. Like I said,
Father Christmas, doesn't he?
Honestly, we got 47 and a half hours. 47 and a half hours, I tell you. What a football club. What a football club. Right, listen, guys, that's your breaking news. Not the news you wanted to come through at all, but we argue about Vicario for a period. Big Ange will tell us more, of course, on Wednesday when he holds that pre-match press out ahead of AS Roma. I'm sure, like I say, in the world of Spurs, there'll be more twists and turns to come. We'll be following you all this way. I want to say a massive thank you. Jace, thank you. Enjoy Roma, which looks like 0 degrees at the moment as things stand on Thursday.
Lovely.
Tottenham. Wouldn't change it for the world.
Read up on your medical books as well. I'll send you one.
Well, look, again, I'm here to ask difficult questions. You're here to answer them. So thank you for answering difficult questions. And thank you, as always, for putting me in my place. We thank you, as always.
Rick,
Jace.
I've got a pain.
This is his ankle. This is his ankle's falling off. You can't play on with that.
I'll tell you what, I'm definitely going to get that medical Spurs stuff after this one. Jace, thank you so much. Lots of love. Cracks, thank you. You said to us earlier, Cracks, that the laptop and the mic came back almost. It felt like it was meant to be that this happened. Not the injury, but the fact we have to record that impromptu.
I must have known he was in the operating theatre because earlier on I was just all the kids came over for early Christmas, so everything got packed away because of using the bedrooms and what have you. And I thought, let me get that out ready to go for later this week with a Roma game. And then all of a sudden this breaks and Rick's gone, can you we need to do a pod a bit later. And I thought, I must have known as the surgeon got the scalpels out ready, I was getting the laptop out ready. So, but yeah, there you go. Rick, medical homework for you, my friend. The Ottawa ankle test. Someone did mention it earlier in the comments. Now, I'm sure Ottawa ankle test was the band I saw supporting the Butthole Surfers in the late 80s at Subterranean in Ladbroke Grove. But it is a thing, and that's something that the medical team will do testing for breaks and that. But someone did, I didn't catch their name, but someone did mention it. It's something I had seen before from my time spent doing silly trivia quizzes and that. So have a little read up of that. And if you can read that message on the screen now, Rick, you can certainly read up about the Ottawa ankle test as well.
Well, just say how she loves me and I'm my right to ask these questions. See you Thursday. Back up. Thank you so much. And if Netflix did any documentaries on Spurs, you'll be the director, my friend, they reckon. Honestly. Tottenham Hotspur, what a football club. Just keeps on giving, doesn't it? Even when you thought you have a down period, bang, they're back. Can't make it up. What a club. What a club.
I can't say it can't get any worse because...
Well, be careful. Be careful.
It might.
Can I just say, be careful. It's only Tuesday. We don't play till Thursday.
That's true. Yeah, no, I look forward to Thursday. I'm actually going to go down on Thursday, so that should be quite good. I did say after the Ipswich game that I'm never going to a Premier League game again, and then we're going to smash.
Hold on. Say what you said on here. What games are you only going to?
I'm only going to the cup games. It's a cup game, isn't it, on Thursday? A cup game. So my season ticket, block 252, happy days. It will be empty or it'll be resold, given out to my friends and family, whatever, for every Premier League game. Because I can go again.
Steve's spot on there. Character building since 1882. What a football club.
Yeah, true, mate. Bang on, mate.
Wouldn't change it for the world, or would we? Honestly, guys.
Billy T. Just quick. I think Billy T posted earlier something. I have to paraphrase him. The great Billy T. You can't get it all right, but I paraphrase something along the lines of whoever's running us in a different paradigm, they have literally got it in for us, haven't they? Like whoever's playing the Tottenham Hotspur game from a different paradigm. It's just like, who's controlling us? Come on, give us. They've got to be a gooner. They have to be. They've got to be.
The thing is, like, I just find it crazy.
We are a social experiment, aren't we, Rick? We are a social experiment.
Whoever's running the social experiment, you said.
We are the Truman Show. Someone somewhere. Tottenham's in this huge dome, and we are the Truman Show. And they're this is all the fans are like a Truman. It really is. It really is. It's just honestly.
I'll see you.
We've got to close on that. That's it. We've got to close on that. Honestly, what a football club.
Your best Truman impression, son. Go on.
Oh my God. Okay, so don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. We've been the last one on Spurs. From Jace, from Lee, from Cracks. The social experiment rolls on. Guys, thank you so much for your support. As always, keep the faith. We'll be back for more. Hopefully not too soon. And as always, come on, you Spurs.